Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Thursday, July 2nd, 2020, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Economist 2020 election forecast. Essentially, they launched this forecast just around a month ago that gave us a general idea of where they believe the election will end up. They started this back in March, and then they finally finalized it and published it, and I made a video about it once. I never really covered it since then, but now they give Joe Biden a 90% chance at winning the presidency, so I did think that was a very significant uptick from Joe Biden being around 77% when I first made this video. So I'm thinking, looking over this, I want to see what changed and what didn't change. So it's around 89%. I'm rounding up to 90% because I was at 90% when I wrote down this video idea. And it's around a 9 in 10 chance. I mean, 89% is closer to 90% than it is to 75. So I'm going to say it's 90% for the, easiness as it rolls off the tongue. But, Donald Trump having a 1 in 10 chance at the presidency is never a good look. You're an incumbent president. And the fact that Joe Biden is very much widely expected to win the popular vote, 98% chance that he wins more votes. If you didn't know the difference, winning the Electoral College does not always correlate with winning the popular vote. The Republican Party has only won the popular vote once since the year 2000. So keep that in mind, yet winning the election 3 out of those 5 times. So besides that, we have to keep in mind that, again, the popular vote won't really matter, but Joe Biden will almost absolutely carry it. So they actually have a predicted range of Electoral College votes, but it does go a little bit more in depth. We'll get to that in just a second. So Joe Biden actually, on his low end, gets 240 electoral votes. I think that is very good news for the Democratic Party, considering they got 232 in 2016. This forecast is essentially saying, without a doubt, in almost 90% of cases, Joe Biden will get a larger number of electoral votes than what Hillary Clinton got in 2016. 240 is the predicted range at the lowest point, meaning he's already outperforming Hillary Clinton at his worst. So in his, obviously, prime, he would get 415 electoral votes, which isn't likely, but again, it just shows how far the range goes. For Donald Trump, the unfortunate reality for him is he will not even reach the number of electoral votes on his highest end. His peak, I guess you could call it, 298 electoral votes. He got 306 in 2016. While it's an only 8 electoral vote decrease, it's still a decrease in his best scenario, which gives you a very general idea about how hard it is for President Trump to win his re-election bid. Yes, the forecasts were slightly off in 2016, but you can almost guarantee after these 4 years they've had time to adjust and take data with a lot more consideration than they did in the past, because Donald Trump was a new candidate, but now they know how to assess his overall chances at the presidency. So let's go ahead and look. Let's take a look at the Electoral College. So on your screen, they have these little bubbles, and they give you a general idea of the electoral vote count. So while Montana may be just as large, as other states, or, Montana, which may have, I believe actually Montana is the third largest state in the country, third or fourth largest state in the country, but let's not use that as an example. Let's go ahead and take a look at South Dakota, which is much larger than Maryland, my home state, but Maryland has 10 electoral votes. South Dakota only has 3. So the circle is smaller, but the landmass obviously is bigger, but it gives us a much better idea as to where the actual votes are coming from. So as you can see in the Northeast, it's a very populated region with a lot of electoral votes projected to go to Joe Biden, not Donald Trump. If we go ahead and take a look at the swing states up there, New Hampshire, Joe Biden is likely to win. This is the 65 to 85% chance that Biden will win in New Hampshire, so it's not super solid, but still an expected victory. We go up to Maine, very likely. That moves it up to be between 85 to 99. So that actually is what I would consider to be a safe state, though I do characterize Maine as likely. The wording is different here. This is an 85% to 99% chance that Joe Biden wins Maine, as Hillary Clinton did in 2016. We go over to Virginia. This is another state that Joe Biden is, quote, very likely to win, which means that this state is going to absolutely go to him. It's not enough to be characterized as, a 99% chance or more, such as New York or New Jersey, but I will say that Joe Biden will win Virginia without a doubt. If we go ahead and take a look at some other states, Michigan joins that very likely characterization, which is very interesting considering Joe Biden, while sure leading ahead by 8%, I really thought the Economist would be a lot more apprehensive about putting this in the solid Joe Biden column. This is practically saying it's nearly safe. And Donald Trump carried the state in 2016, which again goes to my point that I was surprised to see Michigan characterized as very likely, but also I understand now why they consider Michigan and some other states, with all of them being likely or very likely, why Joe Biden is the favorite to win the election overall. Looking at Minnesota, another very likely to win state. Colorado joins them, New Mexico joins them, and actually Nevada. Nevada is the state that the Trump campaign, I do believe, is going to target, but will probably go to Joe Biden at this point in time. So we actually have some other states that are considered to be total toss-ups, which are uncertainty, meaning that the win probability for certain candidates is between 50 and 65%. But a lot of these states that went to Donald Trump in 2016 are still considered likely, meaning they have a 65 to 85% chance of going to Joe Biden. That includes states such as Florida, a very large state, 29 electoral votes. Donald Trump carried it in 2016 by a larger margin than Obama carried it over Mitt Romney in 2012. Maybe not as large as the 2008 margin, but the Republicans did very well in Florida in 2016 and also arguably in 2018. But now Joe Biden is the favorite. He's up in polling data by 7% in the state. Hillary Clinton didn't even lead on election day. Donald Trump actually led by 1%. He ended up winning it. Actually, I believe by 0.1%, ended up winning it by 1.1%. So even if he outperforms the numbers, it's still, under my characterizations, a likely Joe Biden state, which is very unfortunate for Donald Trump. Pennsylvania and Wisconsin also joined the bunch as a likely state to go to Joe Biden. He's expected to carry both of these. They are not considered uncertain, which means that the probability of Joe Biden carrying the state is, pretty likely. 65 to 85% is nothing to laugh at, which means it's still possible for Donald Trump to win those states, just a lot harder for him to win them as swing states. But we go ahead and take a look at some other states that are, previously safe Republican states, and we see that Louisiana has moved down to very likely. Yes, Louisiana is probably going to go to Donald Trump, but the fact that it's not considered safe is important to note. Louisiana is considered very likely, and so is Nevada. So Nevada is a swing state from 2016. Louisiana voted for Trump by, 20% at least in 2016. So that just goes to show that Louisiana is rated just as safe for Donald Trump as Nevada is for Biden, or Colorado, or Virginia, or Minnesota, or New Mexico. So keep that in mind when you take a look at some of these characterizations. They also have this characterization for the state. Let's go ahead and see. Mississippi, that makes sense. It's probably going to narrow down to a likely state. South Carolina also makes sense. The rest of these states are pretty solid. Indiana has also moved down to very likely, along with Missouri, but they will still probably go to Donald Trump on Election Day. There are a number of states that are considered to be likely Republican states. That includes states such as Iowa. Not a number of states, actually, only one. Iowa is the only state considered to be likely for Donald Trump, I believe. Oh, and Texas. So these are two states that actually were pretty solid for Donald Trump, roughly the same vote margin in 2016, Iowa slightly more, but both went to Donald Trump by nearly 10%. So the fact that they are close and they're considered to be likely, Texas is as Republican as Pennsylvania is Democrat, even though Pennsylvania went to the GOP in 2016. Florida is expected to go to Joe Biden as much as Texas is to Donald Trump. That gives us a much better scale looking at the election and comparing states to one another. Florida is just as Democrat as Texas is Republican. Keep that in mind, both of which went to Trump in 2016. So either it's bad news for Donald Trump or really good news for Joe Biden. It's both. They really go together. But I will say that it is important to note that Florida is likely for the Democrats, and Iowa and Texas are both likely for Donald Trump. So that leaves 4 complete toss-up states: Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona. These are states, again, that are considered uncertain, which means that they're probably, Ohio and Georgia are probably expected to go to Donald Trump between a 50 to 65% margin, and Arizona and North Carolina to Joe Biden. Arizona actually moved over to the Democratic column yesterday, but I'm assuming it moved back with that subtle drop from 90 to 89%. But the overall Electoral College, estimated vote is 343 to 195, which means that Donald Trump isn't even breaking the 200 mark, something that Mitt Romney was able to do, but John McCain did not do. Donald Trump, if that was his reelection bid, that would be very bad news for him. I mean, that would essentially mean Joe Biden won the Electoral College by around 140 electoral votes. Back in 2016, Donald Trump only won by roughly 70 electoral votes. So keeping that in mind, it wouldn't be beneficial to to Donald Trump if this was the numbers. He couldn't even say that it was a close election because it wouldn't be. This is a very solid and trouncing victory for Joe Biden. And at one point in time, they expected Donald Trump to win the election. It wasn't like this was always in favor of Joe Biden. It just came as a result of Donald Trump's numerous comments that ended up hurting his reelection bid. And if you take a look, literally, you could say around a month ago, Biden was at 81%. And then you go ahead and take a look around a month before then, 80%. So it was pretty stagnant. And then a month before then, on April 1st, you go ahead and see Biden was at 62. And then on March 1st, Biden was at 50. So you can see in just the span of 4 months practically, Joe Biden goes from a 50% chance of winning the election all the way up to 89%, 91% at his peak just 4 days ago. That's important to note. Donald Trump's chances are nearing down to 10% and a 2% chance of winning the popular vote. Absolutely abysmal. Looking at a lot of these states, again, Joe Biden does not need any of those white states. The only states he needs are Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, and those are either likely or very likely to go to him. He's also carrying Florida and every single other swing state. Donald Trump is only carrying Iowa and Texas as swing states, and narrowing down actually in solid Republican states. So The Economist is putting Donald Trump at a very low point, and that's just as a result of Joe Biden's campaign, raising a lot of money in previous months and sending out numerous ads, and Donald Trump, saying things that are detrimental to his reelection bid. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you go ahead and check out the video on your screen and then a playlist to my 2020 election nights. I'm dropping a Senate election night sometime soon. Go ahead and check out our Instagram at Let's Talk Elect and my Twitter at LT Elections, no extra E. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already on the left and joining as a member on this channel. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.